Well guys, right here is our first batch of this year's pasture raised, homegrown chicken. What I have right here is going to be 18 Cornish crosses from Myers Poultry, not Myers Hatchery. This is a different place. Some people got confused on that. No, these are from a place called Myers Poultry. But what we're going to do today is we're going to show you what our total weight was. We're going to show you how we package them. And then we're also going to break down one of the most common questions that I get asked, not necessarily from YouTube, but from people here in my local area about why do we raise the chicken when chicken is so cheap at the grocery store. So I'm going to break it down what our cost was, everything from the feed, the packaging materials, and then we're going to do that per poundage and show you what in value we have in comparison to what we spent and whether or not it was worth it. So first off, these birds, I'm really curious to see what they weigh out, but they came out really well. Now, of course, I just pulled them out the freezer, so the frost is starting to form over them, so you can't see some of it all that well. Good sized bird. Definitely have shorter legs, which you get with the Cornish cross variety versus last year. The Red Rangers was something that I actually preferred over the Cornish cross, but I thought I'd give these a try. So another thing we tried though is check out those custom labels that I ordered. They were fairly inexpensive. And no, we're not planning to sell these. These are from my family, but I do have dreams and ambitions in the future to sell poultry and ground pork. So I'm kind of just preparing myself, and for how inexpensive these labels were, I wanted to give them a try. But so far, I've been pretty pleased with them. The biggest part is figuring out how to dry the poultry bag enough to get a good stick to it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's find out the weights. Oh, one more thing. So I said I got 18 birds here. Well, in previous videos, I said we processed 19. Well, dumb boy here made a big mistake. So when we finished processing all these and I started putting them in the freezer in my garage, well, let's just say about a day or two later, Mrs. Rocky Creek started talking about how I think the baby's diapers smell horrible in the trash bag in the garage, because we kind of throw them in the trash bag throughout a day and then put them all in the trash can at one time. And I was like, I don't know, because we've had super hot, humid temperatures. And so I go out in the garage and I'm like, that is not a diaper smell. Yeah. And I start looking all around the garage and I notice as I get closer towards the freezer, it's really bad, like dead body bad. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, don't tell me that my freezer went out. I open up the freezer, it's frozen, full of chicken, other meat, deer meat, beef, whatever. And then I look to my left and there was one of these sitting on a shelf next to the freezer that apparently never made it in the freezer. And it was disgusting. I had to clean it with bleach, everything known to man. Now, it was in the bag, and I'll give these bags credit. No juice leaked out of them, but the smell was able to get through, and it was awful. So I lost a chicken to just sheer stupidity. So we got 18. So we're going to weigh out these 18, and let's see what we got. All right, so we got Miss Madison here. She's going to put her writing skills to the test. Well, as you can see, she's already labeled it. Rocky Creek Homestead. Oh, we missed an A. We got it close.
Wait, where do I put it?
It's S-T-E-A-D. There you go. That's good enough. All right, so I did help her out a little bit because she does write pretty good, but her lines will get all out of whack, and I'll make sure we can see good. So we got these little makeshift boxes here up to 18. She's going to stick my weights right there, and then we're going to total these up. Think you can handle that? Mm-hmm. All right. All right, so here's how this works, buddy. So we turn it on, and you see those numbers right there? Mm-hmm. So when it goes, whatever you see, but see how it has that dot? Mm-hmm. So make sure you put the number, the dot, and then we'll just do the first two numbers past it. I don't need all three of them, okay? So like for instance, if we put this one on here, what number do you see?
446.
Yeah, it'd be 4.46. Ready? Ooh, that's a big one.
480.
Hey, you're doing good, man. Your writing looks good too. They got a little weight to them. Think we'll have any that hit the 5 pound?
Maybe.
Yeah. Alright, so we got 4.
1.
Alright. So if you notice I'm turning these this way, that lets me know that we've already done those. That's only a 3.
Oh gosh, that's the tiniest.
Yeah.
It's bigger than
Biggest so far is 4.88. Well, no, you're good. You only need the first 3. If the first 3 are staying still, then you can write those.
No.
That's fine. Alright guys, so here's the breakdown. Between all the chickens, the largest that we ended up with was a 4.88, so just shy of 5 pounds. And the smallest one that we had looks like it's going to be, there was a couple 3-pounders, the 3.83, that's going to be the smallest. But between the 18 chickens, the total poundage was 80.21. So we probably realistically, to be safe, would have had about 84 pounds processed poultry off of this group, because I did lose that one chicken. So just averaging, just say to be on the low side, 4 pounds per chicken, we would have been about 84 pounds, give or take. So, but I'm going to go ahead and based off of this is what I actually have to consume. Let's do some other math to see whether or not it was cost efficient and beneficial for us to do this compared to just buying it at the grocery store. So let's talk about a couple things in terms of cost of this, and the most commonly asked question about my raised poultry is why, if I can just buy it at the grocery store for fairly cheap. So first, let's start off with the birds. We got these guys on March 31st. We raised them for exactly 8 weeks. We processed them near Memorial Day, and so that was right at 8 weeks, and the chickens themselves cost me, with shipping, everything included, $60.60. The amount of feed that I spent by getting the food at my local mill, which I showed you all how that's a huge cost savings by getting it at my local mill, I paid $95 over the course of those 2 months for those particular chickens. The poultry bags themselves, I bought in a quantity of 100. I got those from Stromberg's website as well, which y'all know I've been a huge fan of some of the poultry supplies I've been able to get from them, including our knives. But if I do the math on those, for what bags I needed for these 18 or 19 chickens, it would have cost me $5.20 to bag these guys up. The labels, $5.80. So I'm going down to every little penny that goes into, if you were to buy that chicken at the store, everything from the chicken to everything included in the packaging material. By doing that, I come to a total investment of $166.60. Now, when I take my total of $166.60 and compare that to current poultry market pricing, when I looked it up online right now, this is just your average run-of-the-mill poultry across the United States that you get at most of your national grocery stores, they are currently at market price of $2.37 a pound. Well, when I do that math, if I were to have gone and bought 80 pounds of just standard poultry meat from your local grocery store, that's from any of the big box manufacturers, it would have cost a value of about $190.49. So just off of your lower quality run-of-the-mill poultry, I have saved, close to $30, about $24. Now, that's not a big cost savings, but this isn't your everyday, ordinary run-of-the-mill chicken. But I still did save money, but I had a lot of time invested. If I compare that, though, to when you look online for pasture-raised poultry, true pasture-raised, not some sales gimmick, where free-ranging, which that is the biggest sales gimmick in modern poultry world known to man right now, but true pasture-raised on grass, eating bugs, fresh air, sunlight, the average that I can find online is around $5 a pound. Some of them are upwards of $5.99, $5.29. There are plenty above $5, but I went with $5 as a safe number compared to a lot of ones that I've seen online. Well, when you do the math of $5 per pound at 80 pounds of pasture-raised poultry, which is what we have, that's $401.05. Well, now when you compare 401 to 166, that is a huge savings when you talk about the quality. So that right there, I hope helps you to understand why I do this. Now, we do have other stuff in this. We have knives that we've purchased. We've got the cone that we use to put them in. We have the turkey fryer that we dip them in to scald them in. And we have the plucker. But just to give you a comparison in terms of that, the cone cost me $35.99. The knife, my boning knife cost me $12.95. My sticking knife cost me $9.99. And I found my turkey fryer on Craigslist for $25. So even with all those items, everything other than my plucker, I'm still in the positive for pasture-raised poultry. When you look at the price of my plucker, after I have raised 2 batches, maybe 3 at the most, of 15 to 20 meat birds per batch, I would have already paid for all of my processing equipment free and clear, and then I'm nothing but getting those profit margins now off of what I have. Now, when I say profit margins, that's not for me to sell, but you want to know that I try to make a point on the homestead that what I raise here not only is the best food for my family, but number 2, that it is at least a cost savings to some degree. But you got to compare apples to apples. Even comparing this higher quality poultry to standard run-of-the-mill factory farm poultry, we're still savings, but it's a very tiny sliver of savings, but it's worth it if it's giving my family good quality. But you compare that to other apples to apples, it's a huge, tremendous savings. So I hope that helps you guys out. Now, another thing I want to share with you real quick too is that we did try an experiment with our packaging this year outside of just the labels. I wanted to use the stickers too because in the past we've done the straw method for packaging this up, where you run the straw through here, get as much air out, dip it, and then as I'm pulling the straw out, somebody pulls the zip tie tighter. I wanted to try the poke the hole method though, because I'd read that poke the hole method gives you a tighter seal. But I also want to try in 2 different ways. Doing it from the leg side, which is how this one is, and then doing one from the neck side, which is how this one is. Now I can tell you for quick trying to get it done, doing the leg side is easier because the way the wings are on the chicken, it slides into the poultry bag easier because this will be your opening and everything slides smoothly. Trying to get these legs down in here, when you do it this way, you have to feed the legs in from the top, which it's kind of a pain and it's hard to do, especially if you get a wider bird. But I can tell you, if you do the poke the hole method with the tie being at the top, you get a much tighter and cleaner presentation when it's all said and done. So there's nothing wrong with this one, but you can see you got a lot of air in between these legs, and so you do get a little bit more of a gap. But I can tell you right now, I've done both and my chickens have been very tender and very delicious. So just want to share with you that either way is fine, but I did, in my personal experience on this first time doing the poke the hole method, that this seemed to work better. Now if you do poke the hole method, you do got to have some kind of a sticker or tape or something to cover that tiny hole after you submerge it, so you don't have exposed meat and get frostbite on your chicken. So guys, I brought you inside today to go over this because 1, I didn't get to take you along with me when we processed the Cornish crosses, but also 2, we had originally had like almost a month of almost little to no rain, and we have had solid rain for about 6 days straight. There's been some localized flooding in some areas, nothing of huge concern, but there has been some flooding. We needed the rain, but there's been so much that the garden and all the animal pens are just so muddy right now. This is actually the first moment it's kind of cleared up for a period of time of any significance. So they're saying that by tomorrow we should start getting some sunshine. So we're gonna let it dry out for about a day or 2, and then hopefully we'll be able to get y'all back outside and do some other things that we need to get done. But guys, I hope this helps you out, give you some ideas of why we process our own poultry here on our homestead, why the cost of it is very important, but also why the quality of it is very important. This year already, we'll have those 80 pounds. We got another batch to do, Last year, I only had about 68 pounds of poultry meat in my freezer for the year. This year, I wanted to at least double that. We're on track to do so. And so I'm very curious to see what we end up with these gray broilers in comparison to those Cornish crosses. So guys, I hope this helps y'all out. I appreciate y'all coming along. The love and support y'all been giving us here recently has been phenomenal. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Y'all be good. Y'all take care of yourself. And we'll see you here very soon on one of our next episodes. Thanks, guys.